Welcome to the official episode of the Chew and Chat Table. I am your host, Nicole Freeman, and you are in for a treat today. As we embark on our final week of Women's History Month, I wanted to discuss a topic that is pretty much relatable to most women. And the topic for discussion for today is how do women, regardless of your background, find peace and balance when you wear multiple hats? But before I introduce my special guest, I'm seriously excited today. I would like to talk about the chew portion of today's episode. So today we'll be snacking on these beautiful fruit cups, and we also have a small charcuterie board. But as you all know, I want to focus on more of the fruit cup today because everyone knows that I've been embarking on a health journey. And so in the health world, we call fruit nature's candy. And so I feel like because summer is coming up, everyone needs to kind of, you're dehydrated, you want to make sure you're eating right. You want to make sure that you're intaking the proper nutrients in your body. So of course, fruit is a better option than candy. So without further ado, and before we get into this good food, my guest today is a virtuous woman. Oh my goodness, you guys are in for a treat today. She is a native of Savannah, Georgia. She is married to her lovely husband, Charles, for 34 years, and they share 4 beautiful adult children. She has a bachelor's degree in business. She will be graduating this year with a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology. She is the founder and CEO of GRIP, Girls Receiving Insight on Priorities, and GENTS, Groomed, Empowered, Nurtured to Succeed, mentoring programs that serve the youth throughout the Department of Juvenile Justice. She is also a member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Northwest Georgia chapter. And on top of that, all of this, she and her husband launched Covenant for Life Couples and Marriage Maintenance Outreach Ministries in 2004. She holds credentials in crisis intervention and prevention skills and therapeutic restraints, as well as conflict resolution. She became an ICF board certified professional coach in 2017. My girl coined as Coach Sherri G, the authority walker, relationship / leadership coach. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and my sister, Miss Sherri Gordon. Yay! So, Miss Sherri, we have a lot to unpack today.
Let's do it. Let's do
it. A lot of unpack
to be with you today.
All
It
right.
is an honor. An honor. Yes. Let's do it.
One of the things that really intrigued me, like, you know how you think you know a person, but you really don't know a person.
Yes.
And y'all, I have been knowing Sherri for about a year and probably a month now, right? And so we became very close within that year. And I coined myself as, I'm always like a person that kind of watches how people move in general, right? And I'm not the type of person that kind of gets close to people right away. I don't do that. That's never been a part of my DNA. I gotta watch how people move. But when I tell you, when you are blessed with authentic people, right? And especially as a woman, right?
Yes.
You have coined, you know how like your parents used to say some people are in your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime, right?
Yes, I know better.
And I could truly say that I feel like this is something that God has blessed us to be in this for a lifetime. It's not a seasonal thing because you can kind of feel seasonal people, right?
You can.
So, and when I read,
oh Lord,
when I read your, like, I knew a lot about you, but I really did not know a lot about you. It's surface. I know a lot about, the things you do, your profession, and, but I had no idea. So before we get into this, I'm going to start with this nation's Candy, and we're just gonna talk about this. So coming from Savannah, Georgia, right? How did Coach Sherri G grow up? What was it like when you grew up in Savannah, and how did you become this person?
Well, I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather. My mom had me, and she was a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
She and my dad got together, had got me, and when she had me, she went through some depression. So she wanted to go and just venture and kind of get herself back together. And I had aunties that lived in Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm.
So she left. She left and went to live with them in New York and left me in Savannah with my grandparents. Or because they were not gonna, back in the day, you know how it was.
Yes.
Leave your kids with your parents and go and get yourself together, get your career, go to school, whatever, and then you get yourself back and come back and get your kid eventually.
Yes.
Well, that's what happened. She went to New York, got her job and everything, and she left me there with my grandmother. So I was raised by the village. My grandmother, my grandfather. My grandfather passed away of cancer. And that's when my mother returned back home because my grandmother was now then a widow. But I learned a lot from my grandmother. A lot that really was instilled in me to be the best that I could be. As time progressed, I became a teen mom. And
wow.
Yeah.
So let's pause that for a minute there. Let's go back a little bit. So when your mom went to New York, right? And we talk about mental health and things of that now. That's a real hot topic now,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Did you feel like you were abandoned a little bit? Because you know how like when you're young, you're like, well, why can't I go with you, mom?
Right.
Like you're comfortable with your grandparents, your mom, your grandmother,
right.
your grandfather. But then there's a thing where most kids are like, I came from this woman.
Right.
Right. So why can't I go? Did you ever feel that way? Or did you, because some people are like, no, I was, I'm good. But how did you feel?
I think early on in my, like preschool or kindergarten, first grade time years, it didn't faze me as much. I think as I got older and start moving into like that third grade, fourth grade era, that's when I began to feel the real absence of my mother not being there. And seeing other children, especially cousins, have their parents go on vacations, mom showing up to recitals and all of that I did not have. And my grandmother, my grandfather, they were there. Family members, they came in, but it was nothing like her being there. So that the rejection, feeling that rejection, and not that she was trying to reject me, she was just trying to get her life together because she wanted to be better for me. But in the same token, it didn't matter. It hit that I feel like a third wheel, because my aunt and them had to consider taking me on vacation with them. Or, well, okay, well, what we're going to do is Sherri, because we don't want her to feel like, she needs to be able to experience, Disney too. She needs to be, all of that, and me hearing that as a kid, it was like, it wasn't always, oh, let's get Sherri and take it. It was like, okay, what are we going to do with Sherri? That part.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that part.
I don't want to go if you don't want me to go,
Yeah.
So, but, I was able to get through it. There are some memories that I have, even now as an adult, that I go back and have moments. Not too long ago, riding down the road with my husband, just seeing something that triggered a childhood thought of, they really didn't want to be bothered with me, kind of thingy. And, and he was like, I don't want to be bothered with you.
They have always a way.
I always want to be bothered with you. But it was,
just,
those moments sometimes, just, it makes me think about people who have those experiences.
Right.
And even as becoming adults, now having to navigate the thought of At one time, my family did not receive me at the best that I felt, and my
Right.
mother was not there for me. So, I have a major heart for the underdog.
Makes
Major.
sense. It makes
I
sense.
have a major heart for them.
Makes
So,
sense. It makes sense with how you operate and move
yeah,
and your motive. So it makes sense. And your motives are always intentional. Um, always thinking about other people
yeah,
and how they feel.
yeah,
So fast forward, okay, so now you're 16,
yeah.
right? And now you are a teen mom. What was kind of going through your mind? Did you make up in your mind? Let's go back to that abandonment
Yeah.
stage,
Yeah.
right? Did you make up in your mind that because I felt this way, now that I'm going to become a mom, I'm still young myself, right? Now that you're becoming a mom, you're a teen mom at that. Did anything click in your mind to say, I will never allow my child to feel the way I felt, even in that moment, even though you had a really good childhood, right?
Right, right, right.
Did anything ever click the moment that you became pregnant or after you had your baby?
It did. It
Okay.
did. Um, I when I had my oldest daughter, I said I would never, ever, ever, ever holding her in the hospital. I would never leave you. I would never let you be without me unless the good Lord takes the breath out of my body. And I meant it and I did it. I refused to leave her. I got married to my husband, who is not my daughter's biological father, my oldest. Um, and again, continuing on with that generational thing that
Yes.
the African American family did. We were my husband was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and when I got married, we left to go to Virginia, and my mother and my grandmother was heck bent
Like, where are you going?
on not taking my daughter with me. Like, no, well, you just got married. Go get yourself set up, get settled. You're going to a new place. You don't know where. All of this. And I was like, no, I'm not leaving my baby.
So let's kind of go back. So, how old were you when you got married?
I was 19 when I got married to my
19.
husband.
Okay, so now your daughter's 3.
Yeah.
She's 3. Okay. And so you're a 19-year-old,
Mhm.
newly married, newlywed
Yes.
with a 3-year-old.
Yes.
What was it like for you to leave everything that you knew in Savannah to go to a new place
Ooh,
with the love of
child.
your life? What was it like? Because a lot of women, when they love, right, they love hard.
Yes, me.
And so when you're in the blind, and when I say that love is blind, that you don't care about anything except being with the person that you want to be with.
That's it.
So, and then leaving everything that you knew,
Yeah.
because both of you and your husband was born and raised in Savannah, Georgia.
Yes.
So I'm quite sure it was a tough transition for him as well.
Yeah.
So being again 19-year-old teen mom, 3-year-old daughter in a new state, what was Sherri like then?
I was very, very adventurous and excited about my next level and chapter of growing and learning and living. For that transition, I know my husband since I was in the 6th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, so and we were always the best of friends. We didn't really we liked each other as friends. We were in the chorus together. So it was like I was just, he when he asked me to marry him, I was this is my best friend because we were always friends. Um, but
Y'all hear that, ladies? Y'all hear that? You
yeah,
have to be friends first.
yes,
Okay, carry
yes,
on. I'm sorry, I
that's
just had to
it.
say that.
He was I mean, he was my bestie. I mean, we talked about everything. He knows my daughter, my first child's father. We all went to school together.
Wow.
He watched me date other guys. I watched him date other girls. I mean, it was we were friends. We were not like loving on each other at that time,
Right.
but we were always good friends. So when I got married, on our things for our the slogans for our wedding, today I married my friend, the one I live with, long for, and love, and that was my best friend. He still is my best friend to today. But me going and I knew that with him being in the Navy that he was going to have to go out because he had sea duty. So I think that was the most challenging part for me because and that happens with all military wives when the men leave or the women leave because we have delayed women in military too, and there's a spouse that stays back to see about everything and take care of the children, take care of the home, and all
Yes.
of that. Everything goes awry. It goes bananas. Things start happening, and that support system that you have on that end from your spouse, they're not there to help put things in place. But he made sure that I knew how to get to the bank, how to get to the grocery store, how to get to the base.
So
Yeah.
even with your husband being away at sea, right?
Hmm.
So we're gonna fast forward. So
Yes.
how long did you all stay in Virginia
We
before
were
you
in
moved on?
Virginia for I think 4 years, 3, 4 years,
3 or 4
something like that.
years.
And then we came back home to Savannah. He didn't. He we didn't. We moved back. I got pregnant with our first child,
Okay.
and we transitioned back to Savannah. And he got out of active duty full time and went to reserve.
Okay.
So we moved back home to Savannah.
So transitioning back home to Savannah, right? Now the babies start coming,
Hmm.
right? So where is your mental state now? And when I say that you have 4 kids, right?
Yep.
You have four
Two
children,
girls and two boys.
2 girls and 2 boys. You have 4 children. You're working full time, right? Um, your husband is in the reserve, but he's also working.
Yes.
What was your mental state like
At that point, I had my goal was to make sure that I was everything that I could be to my family, my children, my husband. They were very that was my movement, my lifeblood. I did what I needed to do to make sure that they were secure, especially my babies, because I didn't want anything to happen to my kids. I didn't want them to feel like we were not attentive to them.
then? Mm.
So when you saw Charles and Sherri, you saw Demetrius, Charles, Theron, and Tierson. When I couldn't go, my children were with me. I made sure that they had what they needed. My husband made sure that we all had what we needed. Um, he worked job. I mean, he worked. He was a marine electrician for the Marine USA. Um, and they built minesweepers for the Navy. Then he, pulled reserve duty. Um, when I got pregnant with my last child, he couldn't work. I mean, I couldn't work toward the end. So he would he would go to work in a Marine from 7 to 3. At 3:30, he would leave and go and batter chicken at KFC. That was from 3:30 to 7 o'clock. From 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, he would leave there and go to the airport and was a porter for a dollar rental
Mm-hmm.
car for the clean rental cars to make sure that we had what we needed. And every second weekend, he would pull drill in Charleston, South Carolina. So I wouldn't trade him for nothing in the world. So I just had to learn how to adjust through all of that. It was a lot, but I did it because I wanted to make sure that my family knew and felt secure in knowing that they could rely on me. So I told the line and did what I needed to do while having these babies that my husband wanted. I wanted them too, but he was like, I want me. We had the son, and then we thought our second son was going to be a girl, and we had another son. I was like, oh gosh, because we didn't had a name picked out for a little girl and everything, but then we had the little girl, and I was like, oh, hallelujah. I'm so glad we get, because if not, he probably would have wanted until he got him a girl, but it's been a journey, but it's been good.
So how would you, okay, so we're going to fast forward again,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now you wear this new hat,
Mm-hmm.
right? I went through all your credentials. Everyone knows that you're well educated. Everyone knows that you got a lot going on now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? With all of that experience that you've had, with, you know, having some abandonment issues, being a teen mom, getting married as a teenager. Now you have 4 kids, and fast forward, how as a coach and a mentor, what would you say to a single mother, right, that's wearing 50 hats with 4 kids, 3, 4 kids, 2 kids, even one child that's wearing 1,000 hats? As a coach, what would you say to her? What if she said, "Sherri, I'm at wit's end. Oh my God, I can't. Like, I don't even know what else to do." Like, how would you coach somebody through that?
The first thing I would tell them is don't forget about yourself. In the midst of doing everything for everybody else, wearing all of those hats, take care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, you won't be able to be there to do anything for anybody else. So you have to know how to manage your time to make sure that you're in it before you put anybody else in it.
So, what point in your life, because I'm quite sure you didn't know that
Nope.
years ago, right?
That's right.
So, what was the breaking point in your life where you said, um, I need to take care of me because I've lost myself? There's somebody out there, it's some women out there, some men out there. They have lost themselves in just life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wearing like 5,000 hats,
Yes.
and they have to be everybody's everybody. When was it? What pivotal point, or what drove you to that point to say, I'm tired and I got to take care of me
The thing that drove me, I think, the most was seeing someone that I knew, a dear friend of mine, become ill, um, wearing a whole bunch of hats, and to the point where she had a stroke and almost died. Still living today, thank the Lord, but it's a challenge because she's not at home with her spouse. They had to put her in a home. So watching that and seeing how you love somebody so much and people so much till you love yourself out of the picture.
now?
Um, that's one of the biggest reasons why I just stopped and say, you know what, this is not good. Um, do we want to see our family prosper? We want to see our children grow. We want to see all of that, but if you don't do what you're supposed to do for yourself, you're not going to see any of it.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's really hard sometimes when you wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
What would be a good example of starting small? Because it's easier said than done,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people will say, "Well, Sherri, um, I don't know how to, take care of me first. I'm not accustomed to taking care of me. All I saw was my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother. We Black women have always wore that hat of I have to be strong
Yes.
regardless.
Yes.
You have to push through every
Regardless.
situation,
Yes.
every obstacle, every situation. You have to push through. But I feel like that's a lie.
Yeah.
That's just me,
No,
right?
no,
That
I agree.
that's a lie. You know why?
Yes.
Because like you said before, there is a breaking point where you cannot be everybody's
You
everybody,
can't.
right? So when you really think about it, a lot of our ancestors, you know, um, the big mamas and the grandmothers and the aunties dying of heart attacks and cancer and this, that, they eating anyway. They're stressed out to beyond stress. They're having strokes. They're doing all that, and a lot of that is because of
Yes.
the weight that they carry,
Yeah.
right? But
Physically and mentally.
yes, and in today's society, we have a little bit more leverage than they do because
Yes.
while we're talking about it now,
Right.
right? They didn't talk about that stuff back then.
They didn't.
So, um, if someone was to come up to you and say, Sherri, how do I even just start? Like, just give me something small to start with to be able to take care of me. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, one of the things that I would tell them to do, the first thing is to manage priorities. Prioritize what's the most important thing for you first, and then if it's like, church, pay your tithes and then pay yourself.
Right.
You know, set your priorities, take care of your priorities for you first, and then do what you need to do for your family. That's the first thing. The second thing is to set a tradition for yourself, something that you want to do that's going to help edify you. Set a tradition. It don't have to be big. It can be something as simple as getting up in the morning and drinking you a cup of coffee by yourself just to have that woosah moment before you even get started in the day. Or do it in the evening when you come home. Find something that you enjoy doing. And just for you, not for your spouse, not for your children, something that you like to do. If you just want to sit and doodle on a piece of paper, make your little swiggly designs, do that for your set period of time. But create a moment that's traditionally set for you. Put some towels in the dryer and let them be warm, and you know get out of the shower and make sure that they bundle up warm so you can dry yourself. I mean, just things that you need to do for yourself to give you that time to pamper yourself, bring your mind back to center so you can be able to be healthy and good for the next stint that you have to do for more than yourself.
I completely agree with that. It's sometimes it's really hard. Um, Sometimes it's really hard to think about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you've been in that circle, in that
Yes.
mode for so long. I even find myself now like um, everything is go, 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 go. I'm like always on go,
Yes.
right? From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed is go, 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 go. And for me right now, we talked about this. I was like, oh, I'm going to be on go when January 1st
Hit.
hit 2024. I'm going to be on go until probably like after August,
Yes.
maybe if that,
Yes.
right? Um, so this is helping me, and I know it's helping a lot of people. And I find myself even at night when I come upstairs, into our bedroom, you know, and this is one thing I do want to share with just not just with women, just with, you know, people in general, parents, um, people that also raise, that you may be raising someone that's not your biological child, um, but they live in a house with you. You may be raising your nephew, your niece, your grandchild, whoever. Set boundaries.
Yes. Some boundaries are
So my
important.
children know, even if I'm in my home office, if I'm in my bedroom, knock on my door.
Yeah.
You got to set boundaries. And so I find at night after I take my shower, get myself together, do my routine, and I'm in the bed, that's the calmest space for me. So for other people, it may be taking a hot bath. It may be, I have some single friends. They'll say, well, I like to date myself, so I'll go to the movies to kind of decompress, or I like to take myself to dinner to decompress. And then
That's
married
good.
people, listen, I know you're married. I know, you guys do everything together. It is okay for you to go window shopping by yourself
It
sometime. It is
is.
okay for you to grab a bite to eat by yourself.
It
It's
is.
it is okay. Why? Because most of the time everybody wears a lot of hats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody wears a lot of hats. So, you've evolved a lot from Savannah till today,
Oh
right?
yeah. Have to be that person in the room that they will feel that it's safe. So for me to create an atmosphere that is safe, honestly, I ask God to show me what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Because the wife chat was just something that happened instantly. It was not something that I really thought out, planned out for a year or something like that. It was like within a week, I was pushed and I did it, and the response was really overwhelming to me because I was not expecting for everybody to just bite so quickly. But I'm glad that it happened because I know it was a God moment, and I know that
Yes, it was.
women need more spaces to come and be in a room, not feeling that they're in competition with anybody, not feeling that every whatever they're gonna say is gonna be respoken.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, that environment was very safe.
yeah, and the reason that them non-disclosure agreements and confidentiality statements and agreements that you sign coming in, I'm letting you know from the beginning that this is serious.
You hear that, y'all? She's the real deal. Like you're not going to ever feel unsafe
Yeah,
in the environment
no,
of Coach Sherri.
no.
Um,
I did that on purpose, and every time I do an event where a pour is going to happen because I know that I've already prayed and I asked the Lord to let this environment be open so that women can get set free, so they can be who they're supposed to be for themselves and to their family and their spouses and stuff. So, um, I'm going to make sure that that's an expectation set coming in, and then when we come together, those who are going to be sharing and speaking, I have you get there early, a little bit earlier, so that we can call into the environment what we want to see.
yes, absolutely,
And that's a vital part.
absolutely.
And then the third piece is the self edification session where everyone goes around and introduce themselves and tell us what they do, because that's a major networking piece that pull women together again to see what I need from you and what you need from me, and how we can exchange and network with each other and help build each other's business and share. So it's all about unification, support, promotion, all of that. It comes together. And I want to make sure that I be the person that can help people feel that they'll always have some place that they can come, always have somebody that they can talk to, always feel safe with me. I mean, there's no other way because I don't want nobody to give up, because I couldn't give up, and I refuse to see. I'm not going. I'm not. I don't. I said we don't do non-finishing around here. No one, no non-finishers in my corner. You must complete your journey. So, and that's where I'm at.
And I believe that because again, you said something. Um, you said God gave you the vision and He gave you the instruction per
Quickly,
se,
it was fast.
quickly to put together the wife check, right? So that means that there is a great need of women. That it's a spirit of desperation out there. Like, is
Yes.
somebody listening to me?
Yes.
Is somebody hearing me? I can't wait to to be able to dump this.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean you have you had women of all ages in there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So what do you say to the newer generation of mothers that want to be friends with their daughters, right? And friends with their children, but then they're like overloaded and like they're just in a tailspin at this moment, because I feel like there are a lot of young people out here, they want to do better,
Yeah.
right? I never discredit these young people because they want to do better,
Right.
but I feel like there's a place where some of us have dropped the ball
Yeah.
somewhere, right? And so, how do you speak to a mother or a parent to say, I'm wearing all these hats and I'm trying to be everybody's everybody, and I'm trying to bring all of this in, but I'm still I've lost myself. I felt like I failed my children. I felt like I failed, my parents. I felt like I failed everybody around. Like what do you do?
Well, I think we kind of spoke a little bit to it a little earlier about boundaries. We have to set boundaries so that we will be able to manage those relationships. And the other piece is that, okay, so I have four grown children, and my mom passed away. It'll soon be 12 years. July be 12 years. And because you were saying about being friends with your children, and I don't think I was a friend. My mom was my friend. My mom was my friend until probably what 2 3 years before she passed away. She was always my mother, always instructing, always correcting. Even as a grown married woman with four kids that were all
They'll do
teenagers.
it.
Um, and it's not that she didn't want to be friends with me, but she wanted to always make me understand that you know this is a level of relationship that we have to keep so that you can always be in a place where you can understand correction, where you can understand that I'm looking at the better good for you. And I don't want you to feel that you become so common with me.
Yes.
That you will not hear and respect what I'm giving because I'm not speaking of myself.
Yes.
My mother was a very, very, very spiritual woman. She loved the Lord and she heard from him. So when she would say things to me, she would always, my middle name is Alexine. Do you hear me, Sherri Alexine? Yes, ma'am, I hear you. But in the same token, we want to have, friendships and relationships with your children.
Yes, absolutely.
We want them to feel that, mommy understands that, this is a safe place.
Yes.
I tell my children all the time, tell me everything. It's a judgment-free zone.
Me too.
I need to know what's on your mind. Talk to me even now as adults. My oldest is 38 and my youngest is 29. This is a judgment-free zone. Mommy's going to love on you. I'm going to be there now. Yeah, I might be disappointed. Some things they may say on the inside, I am screaming, but I've learned how to keep a poker face.
You sure?
My husband said my face need to be delivered.
Yeah. Because we can't keep that poker face.
Oh gee. Oh, what do you say? What do you say?
Like, come again.
Oh, no, like, okay, breathe. But I want them to know that, you come here and I'm gonna tell you the truth, but I wanna know. I used to tell them when they were younger, don't let nobody beat you to me telling me about you.
Yes.
Tell me the truth. So when I hear it, I'll know how to respond. So
that's wisdom.
Yeah.
That's wisdom. Don't let anyone else beat me. Come to me
with what you need to be telling me.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't let anyone else beat you to me. Don't let nobody else beat you, my child, to me.
Yes.
Before you get to me. Go ahead and tell me. So I'll be prepared.
And I feel like that's awesome because children need to know, no matter what age they are, that they have a safe space at home.
That's it.
And it was funny because I was talking to my mom last night with my daughters, and I was telling my daughters, I was like, I've always had an open, safe space with my mom. Even as a little girl,
yes.
I never kept anything from my mother, and I raised my girls the same way. I've always had a very open relationship with my daughters. They come every day after school. They're coming straight to my office and dumping. Mom, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened.
I love it. That's good.
And like you said, you have to have a judgment-free environment.
Yes.
When they come to you, and even as women, as mothers, right? Sometimes, again, we wear so much hat and baggage, right? That we're like, I can't take another thing. I can't take another thing. And you've pretty much broken that down on how we need to decompress that, like
yes.
take a moment for ourselves. So I appreciate you, Miss Sherri.
Honey, I appreciate you.
I do. This was really good. This is
Yes.
really good. Thank you for joining me today. Um, can you tell the people how they can find you on your social media platform?
Yes, I am Coach Sherri G, the Authentic Authority Walker. I am a relationship and leadership coach where I encourage and empower individuals to have a happy, healthy, whole relationship, whether it's a bit among husband and wives, children, mothers, daughters, fathers, son. You can find me on Facebook at Coach Sherri G, the Authentic Authority Walker. You can email me at coachsherrig@gmail.com. And let me know how you want to get it. I am available to do different sessions. We're going to be having a wife chat again as well.
Can't
But if you
wait.
need to get in contact with me, you can always reach me through Miss Nicole as well.
Well, thank you, Miss Sherry. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming. And thank you all for watching. Again, I am your host, Nicole Freeman. And you can find us on the Chew and Chat table on Instagram at the_Chew and Chat table on Instagram and on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, the Chew and Chat table. Thank you all for joining us. I love you so much, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.